Wednesday, January 11th edition of the Carolina Weather Video. I'm meteorologist Matthew East here with you. Thanks for checking in today. And we have a big storm system moving through our region. This is a system it seems like we've been talking about forever, but here we go. Wednesday, as expected, it's moving on through. And really a lot to talk about as we go through the next not only week, but the rest of the month. There's still a lot of uncertainty with exactly where the overall pattern will head. Now let me start off with the radar imagery this morning. We've had some showers across the region already. They began overnight. The batch of heaviest rain, and that's where there's some embedded thunderstorm activity too, extends from Middle Tennessee into northern Alabama, western Georgia, and the Florida Panhandle region. And that'll pivot into our area this afternoon. Very impressive looking upper air low on the water vapor imagery. If you look at a water vapor loop, it's really an impressive upper low there on the imagery as it's pulling on into the region. And once again, as there seems to have been a ton of over the past few months, this is another moisture-packed system, a deep fetch of tropical moisture feeding on up into the region ahead of the system. So another pretty generous rain producer overall, although our rain amounts not looking quite as impressive as they did at this point yesterday with this system, but still, a lot of us getting a pretty good soaking. Temperatures mild ahead of this system, as you might expect. Now we had a kind of a wedge boundary that's going to be tough to erode away here of the foothills region and maybe the northwest Piedmont, but it's, I think, for areas like in the foothills, the northern foothills primarily, when you get up into Surry County, Wilkes County, Yadkin County, those areas, probably 40s for highs today, but you'll have some areas closer to the South Carolina border that get up into the low 60s this afternoon. So a big spread in temperatures. Now this is what the RPM modeling looks like this afternoon. Let's see, 1930, that'd be 2:30 this afternoon. And you're looking at the best severe weather potential today probably being I-95 over toward the coast, but then as the upper air low moves in, there could be some hailers anywhere across the region as we get later into this afternoon and this evening. No formal slight risk as of the early morning day one outlook, but there could be a few strong to severe storms involved. Again, I think the higher severe weather probabilities today from roughly I-95 over to the coast, but anybody fair game for an isolated strong or severe storm this afternoon. We'll keep an eye on it. All right. Let's go to the upper air chart here. This is this afternoon. And by the way, if you're wanting some longer-term ideas, hang on, it's coming. I'll get into that in just a moment. There's the upper air chart today, the pretty potent upper-level disturbance moving through. A nice piece of energy rounding the trough on the backside that's really going to give us a pretty good shot of cold air for Friday and the weekend. Now, this is Friday morning. A lot of upper-level energy involved, so there could be a quick hit of some snow coming up certainly in the mountains Thursday night. And not a huge snow event, but a little quick hit of some snow with that upper level energy in the northwest flow accompanying that. And then we get into the weekend. This is Sunday morning, and another little piece of energy moves through, kind of reinforcing the trough. So kind of a colder look certainly for Friday through the weekend into early next week. Now let's go to the GFS modeling. Here we are today and then this evening as this system pulls through. A lot of rain, some embedded thunderstorms. Now tomorrow, a mild and breezy day. We'll see highs tomorrow, upper 50s and low 60s across the Piedmont. And notice, again, with that upper level energy, this is the precipitation output tomorrow afternoon. You'll see some of this precip spreading into the mountains, and for most mountain spots, that'll wind up being a quick little shot of some snow. It'll be in and out very, very quickly, though. Here we are on Friday afternoon. Going to be much colder. Piedmont temperatures and foothill temperatures in the 40s for highs Friday. Kind of a stiff west wind, too. Lows getting back into the 20s. This weekend, highs in the 40s there. A lot of sunshine Saturday, Sunday. And we're going to be looking at, again, 40s for highs and 20s for lows across much of the region. As we get into the next work week, notice moisture beginning to build in the southern plains Monday. We'll have a sunny day Monday. And then that precipitation on the GFS and the European modeling gets in here by Tuesday morning. Now, I suppose it's possible that the air mass is cold and dry enough that there could be an initial little wintry mix Tuesday morning in some areas if the precipitation gets in early enough, but I'm not at all convinced of that yet. I'm just kind of mentioning that. That's not something I'm going to mention on the air today, but it is something that you might have to take a look at here on Tuesday morning briefly. But Tuesday afternoon, we warm up way above freezing if we are below freezing when the precipitation arrives. And then I wanted to show you this. This is out Wednesday of next week, and the Europeans overall in agreement with this. Pretty strong area of high pressure up here in the northeast. And this is what I've been talking about in the longer term. I think occasionally we are going to see these highs move from the northern plains into the northeast and want to wedge down the eastern side of the mountains. So even though you look at the modeling in the longer range and it doesn't look that cold across the southeast, we're going to have to watch for these cold air damming episodes from time to time. Now let's talk about the longer term. There is the Arctic Oscillation plunging way down into the negative territory here over the next week to 10 days. There's the look at the European and the GFS comparison in terms of the Arctic Oscillation. The GFS really in the tank. The European, actually, not a lot of agreement here, staying slightly positive before trending toward negative around the 20th or 21st. Now, here's the European model on the left, GFS on the right. This is the day 7 to 10 average of the upper air chart, 500 millibars. Pretty good agreement here, and what you're looking at, the ridge will have built up through Alaska toward the pole, and that's going to, again, deliver the coldest air in the hemisphere into North America as we get into next week. The question is, where does that cold air head? So let's look at 850 millibar temperatures. This is the hemisphere view, and this is today. Now notice what happens by next week. Very cold Arctic air has plunged into Canada, pretty much most of Canada, and then we go out further in time. Here we are all the way out at Friday the 20th, and again, that coldest air in the hemisphere really is still on our side of the pole. But it's looking like, for the most part, it's going to want to stay bottled up off to our north. But with that said, again, with the tendencies for some of these Arctic highs to move into the northeast, we will have to see if we get any cold air damming episodes from time to time. But it's looking at least through next week and maybe through the 20th, 22nd or so of January. Like, for the most part, the sustained cold will want to stay off to our north. It's going to be a real battleground because that's some really, really cold air that's going to be up there in Canada. And so all it takes is a little amplification here or there to send that Arctic air plunging southward. That Arctic air is very dense. It'll try to bleed south from time to time, but it's going to be battling kind of a zonal flow across the southern U.S. So we'll just have to see how all that plays out. All right, that is it for today. Thank you for watching. Stay dry today. Have a great day, and God bless.